Congratulations! You just got a raise. What's the first thing you're going to do? If you said buy a bigger TV, move to a nicer house, or buy a brand new car, you are suffering from lifestyle creep. What's lifestyle creep? How do you avoid it? We're going to talk about that now. What's up, everybody? I'm Nadav Reese, the financially savvy parent that you always wish you had. For most of us, when we're fresh out of college or just starting our careers, that first job, not so glamorous. It is more money than we've ever made before, and we don't have to eat ramen noodles anymore, but we just know there's so much more upside potential. Fast forward a few years, and we've got a promotion or two, maybe even switched to a new job. Now we're making even more money than we've ever made before. That bare bones life of our entry-level job, it's a thing of the past. We're making decent money now, and life is good. Your boss pulls you into their office. They say they're happy with your performance, and you are getting a raise. Congratulations, it's party time. Or is it? If the first thing that comes to mind is spending more money to raise your standard of living, then you're falling into the trap of lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is what happens when new money comes in and you start spending more to raise your standard of living. What used to be a luxury now just becomes a way of life. You make more, but you spend more. This can be a very difficult trap to get out of, because what happens if that new money stops coming in? Ugh, I don't want to be poor again. The big house, the fancy car, the boat, all those things are hard to maintain. And if you're putting money into those money pits, that means that you're not putting that money aside for your future. A recent survey showed that your average baby boomer has just $144,000 saved up for retirement. That's supposed to last them like 30 years. Why don't they have any money? They spent their money on discretionary spending, meaning they bought a bunch of stuff and have very little to show for it. So what should we do instead? When we get that first job, we're just getting ourselves together, and life is difficult. But eventually, we get to a pretty decent living situation, we get to a point where we feel reasonably comfortable. For each of us, comfortable will be defined differently. Whenever it is that you feel comfortable, try to stop there. Set that as your standard of living, and any subsequent raise that comes in can be set aside for your future. Of course, you should always be investing for your future, but we're talking about new money that comes in. Since you're setting aside new money and maintaining your standard of living, you aren't sacrificing for your future. You're already comfortable. You're living a good life. What you're not doing is letting your life and your raise be gobbled up by more spending. Once you start putting that new money aside, it'll start to grow, and potentially grow fast. Month in, month out, you're putting that new money aside to grow for your future, and you already live a comfortable life that you're happy with. Sure, as your family grows and you have new expenses, yeah, you might have to dip into that raise for your basic living expenses, but that's for sure okay. That's what your income is for. What we're not doing is blowing all that money on fancy stuff that doesn't really add much to life. All that does is make your standard of living higher and make it harder to feed the lifestyle machine. Once you're aware of lifestyle creep, you can take a good look at your life and what you spend your money on, and decide whether it's actually adding to your life or not. Chances are, a lot of that stuff that you thought would be so much fun is now just stuff taking up space in your garage. If you're honest with yourself about what you spend your money on, you can avoid a lot of financial traps. Go ahead and click up here for a video that'll teach you how to quantify the impact of your financial decisions. Click down here for another video that'll teach you and your family to develop a healthy relationship with money. I'm Nadav Reese, a financially savvy parent that you always wish you had. I appreciate you joining the family, and I look forward to learning and growing with you next time. Have a great day.